Hi there, I'm Laura McHarrie at The Hidden Edge with another tea break tip on how to use business models and tools to help you manage your growing business. In this video, we're looking at the skills of the chairperson. The chair's role is to guide the meeting via a fully constructed agenda. The chair must achieve the purpose for the meeting whilst being sensitive to the motivations and feelings of the participants. They must draw out the positive contributions and curb negative comments. So there's quite a lot to it. So I thought we'd start off with a self-assessment exercise. Let me just pull that one up. And there we have. So on a scale of 1 to 5, you could, with 5 being fab and 1 being, well, not so fab, you can score yourself against the following skill set. So how well do you open with the positive intentions of the meeting? We've already set out what we want to achieve, but how do you start the meeting so that everybody gets the feeling that we are going to achieve something? Control your meeting and keeping it to time. Worst thing of all is overrunning or only ever dealing with the easy peasy bits and not really getting to the nub of an issue. Getting everyone participating. Ideally, participants will come to your meeting brimming with ideas because you've shared with them the purpose of the meeting and sent them information that might help them make some informed judgments. But you need to state that you need some ideas from the group. So, for example, I don't know what the answer to this problem is. That's why I need your help. What do you guys think? Invite cooperation, seek unique resources from those present. And if you need to, call on people because you know that they're not participating when they do have some ideas. How do you orchestrate an open and participative environment? So you need to be sincere in your desire for everyone's input and make sure that your body language and your facial expressions reflect that. Avoid evaluating and judging the opinions, ideas and proposals presented by participants, at least until those ideas have been first stated, and discourage others from making disparaging remarks too. Immediate criticism will stop participants from contributing. Also, think about how you have laid your meeting room out, because that will make a difference. And I have a PS about that at the end. Summarising what has been agreed to as you go along. Frequent summaries throughout the discussion will help achieve clear thinking and good organisation and keeps the discussion moving forward to a resolution. Then transitions. How do we transition from one agenda item to the next? Appropriate transitions are good for keeping a discussion organised and keeping everybody informed on the progress. Phrases such as, now let's turn to the next point, or let us consider this, can keep participants focused. The guiding the discussion through questions, both open and closed. We know that open questions gets people discussing things, the what, where, why, when, how and who, really important. But closed questions can also help you guide your meeting. You can limit and end discussions like, shall we move on to the next point then? Has anyone ever had this problem before? So it really, closed questions are really useful if you get them right to manage your meeting. Testing and narrowing down the options. Review all the suggested solutions and ask for participants' opinion about them. How will that work in practice? What resources might we need? Keeping the discussion on track. I have a big problem with going off on tangents myself, so I can relate to this. And discussions that rambles or wanders away from the subject or goes back and repeats itself can deteriorate into meaningless arguments and non-contribution towards the purpose of the meeting. Come back to the purpose of the meeting to keep those discussions on subject and moving forwards, not backwards. Establishing a consensus. When a majority decides what action to take or what solutions to accept, the dissenting minority believes its views and interests have been disregarded. Avoid voting if you possibly can. In consensus, everyone gets the feeling that the solution is the best that can be agreed upon, at least under existing conditions. Consensus emphasises the whole group rather than the majority and the minority. Concluding your meeting. Indicate that it is time to conclude or time to end. Reiterate what you set out to do, the purpose for that meeting, emphasise the decisions made, and summarise the progress made. Confirm the actions agreed by whom and by when, and thank the attendees for their contribution and let them know how you will be following up. And the last point is, of course, following up and following through. This is a template that I use all the time. I call it action arising, or actions arising. Others people may use minutes as a way of formalizing what has come out from a meeting. For me, I use this right the way from the start of the meeting. Any actions that come out, any ideas, any thoughts that are action orientated, I make a list of. And at the end of each meeting, we come back to those actions and to agree whether they are appropriate still, and if they are, by who was going to take responsibility for taking action on it. This can then be sent out to people who have attended, those who were unable to attend and sent their apologies, but also to line managers and other interested parties that you didn't really need to have at the meeting itself. Now, I did say that I would add a PS to the end of this video about room layout. And here we have an item on space management. How you lay your room out will depend on what type of meeting that you're having. So some of the ones at the bottom on the right-hand side are traditional ways of laying out a meeting room. It's important that people feel comfortable within the environment for that meeting. As a chairperson, you must be able to make contact with everyone in attendance at any point in the meeting. You will therefore need to be in a central position so that you can see everyone and keep a firm hand on guiding the meeting. Depending on the shape of the tables used, you can have different seating positions to allow the chairperson a more dominant impact on the meeting. For instance, if you anticipate conflict, it is helpful to have potential rivals to either side of you rather than facing each other. And you might also note that allies have certain positions within these table plans too. So if you have the opportunity to look at the layout in advance and you know who's going to be attending, then do think about your space management, because it will help you manage your meetings better. So that's it from me. Time to finish my cup of tea. Do go to the Hidden Edge website to download the templates if you would like them. Have a go. Let me know how you get on. Do share your stories there. I'm collecting a series of case studies to illustrate how business models and tools work. So please share your experiences there. Until then, until next time, enjoy your tea break.